All right, everyone. The other day, Gavin quit as head of the Proud Boys, apparently due in part to, I guess, Antifa's trying to say that they pressured him into doing this. But really, I think it has to do with the FBI, apparently. Apparently, this happened. The FBI claiming that they're now classified as an extremist group with white nationalist ties, and I'm thinking to myself, white nationalism? You mean the same Proud Boys that have decried white nationalism consistently for several years now? The same Gavin that disclaims white nationalism and disavows it on a nearly daily basis because he's constantly called a Nazi? You mean the same one that's antagonistic towards the alt-right gets called like a sellout by the alt-right? Oh yeah, a real extremist leader. I mean, I expect them. They're going to take up arms and kill everyone who's not white. Yes, it's going to happen. Now, I've spoken with Gavin a couple times. He's mostly a chucklehead who's into like some mild comedy and shit. Basically a political comedian more often than not. He's a funny dude. And makes like, gay references and stuff on a regular basis, which can be amusing. I'm not seeing the extremism here. And he points this out in his sort of response to this when he's stepping down. He pointed out the Proud Boys, typically what happens is they'll be providing security for someone who's vulnerable. They could get attacked by leftists or something at any given time. The leftists show up and start throwing punches, they respond, and then somehow this makes them an extremist group. But they're not going out of their way to antagonize these people. They're showing up at places that are likely to be attacked in order to prevent other people from being harmed. They sort of form a human wall around stuff. I don't have a problem with that. I don't see that as a form of extremism. Is it even confirmed that the FBI has actually legitimately classed them as this? I think he should probably sue the government then. It's obvious he can point to a million different examples of himself and others from within the Proud Boys saying that they're not a white nationalist group and don't condone it in any way. Well, then at what point does that become defamatory? It's sort of like being put on the no-fly list because your name is topically similar to like someone who might have built a nail bomb 10 years ago or something. Oh no, you're not allowed to fly. Due process? What's that? Getting labeled an extremist, kind of bad for a person's income and career. Also, usually a precursor to mass deplatforming. I wonder why they could possibly be doing this. And really, that's probably why he's stepping down. It's not even so much, he's saying one major reason, and this is probably at least part of it, is so that the Proud Boys that have been arrested can get better sentencing. Basically, the dissolution and non-leadership style of the group makes it so that it can't really be considered like a gang or something, certain aggravating factors for prosecution. I think the other thing is he's saying, hey, I'm washing my hands of the group entirely, so nobody's going to deplatform me for platforming hate or being a terrorist or being a gang leader or some stupid shit like that because of the dumbass FBI creating this arbitrary classification. I am extremely disappointed that the government would delve to such a level, if that is indeed what is happening. I'm disappointed that this alphabet soup agency has decided to create that classification for the Proud Boys. Again, as someone who's actually spoken, again, speak to the dude. Instead of just assuming, well, this person's hateful, CNN told me so, this person's hateful, MSNBC says they're a Nazi or something, why don't you actually look into their material? Like, I've had people make a million different claims about me that are demonstrably false, and if they just watched a couple of my videos, they would know that. It's like, oh, you never call out Trump. Oh, you are a Trump, you're total MAGA. You're a Republican, I've had people think I was a Bible thumper before. Like, I'll say something, I'll be like, yeah, I'm defending... I can't think of a specific example. Let's say that I'm talking about some evangelical group, and they're like, "Hey, we don't believe in gayness or something," and I'm like, "Well, that's their free speech right." Oh my God, you must be homophobic and you're Jesus freak. Basically, get out of the caveman times and modernize yourself. It's not the fucking 18th century anymore or something. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, if only these people were not totally fucking ignorant. But then again. If people weren't ignorant, if they were actually informed, they knew what people believed, and they didn't jump to conclusions, they didn't make a million assumptions about people because some other person says so. They did topical research into things on their own. We wouldn't have this problem. Deplatforming wouldn't be a problem because a lot of the people that are getting called extremists, Nazis, violent, they platform it, they're not. When the Data Society includes me on its fucking web of, here are influencers that platform hate. Okay, so I talk to other people. That means I obviously endorse them even if the reason there's a connection is in the context of a debate. And they did this to other people too. It's like Bunty King is the new Heinrich Himmler or something. What are you talking about? These are the people that unfortunately control a lot of the communication structures of the online world. I think that that's very, very negative indeed. And I think it's even more, I think that restraint needs to be shown by law enforcement and by these alphabet soup agencies. They need to do better research into these groups. You're saying that the Proud Boys have ties to white nationalism. So you're saying like one Nazi said they like the Proud Boys, oh, they're a Nazi group now or something. I don't understand it. Meanwhile, like Antifa, the FBI still holds out on classifying them as an extremist group. No, they're just protesters, dude. Yeah, they showed up at Tucker Carlson's house, fucking try to kick down his door and threatening his wife, but, you know, that's okay. That's not extremism. It's not violence. Nobody actually got hurt, so it's okay. Meanwhile, even defending yourself, I guess, against some far-left hit mob, that's a violent act. Oh my goodness, you dared to punch this poor, unsuspecting anarchist that was trying to hit you with a Molotov cocktail. Oh my God, you're a violent, hideous person. You should be deplatformed. You should be in jail. You should be on a watch list. You should be disarmed. You are a menace to society. Oh, my poor little Antifa member. Now, I think that's bullshit is what it is, so... yeah. So I guess the Proud Boys technically don't exist, or now they're technically an ANCAP group. That'd be funny. Yeah, they should just be an anarchist organization. They should say, hey, we can't be extremists. We're like Antifa and shit. You know, it's okay. We're Antifa, but with, you know, different haircuts and funny beards and shit. Maybe more muscle mass. That's the big difference. More muscle mass, and we fight with our fists instead of with, like, throwing bricks at the police and shit. When have the Proud Boys attacked the police, by the way? I would think law enforcement would say, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things is not quite the same. That's about all. Peace out.